It's not in the cards for you. I'm pretty good at insults, and I got the internet and a lot of free time.
I'm trying to think if I could find a flaw in this game idea. So you have a hexagon, like the size of a game board, like Monopoly. You have just a big hexagon in the middle of it. And that's covered in 36 other hexagons covered in polygonal shapes like Tetris and some other new ones. But kind of in that small, like, 1 to whatever squares in length. I guess I stopped at 4 in length. All the pieces kind of fit together in that hexagonal thing. You have a grid with different sizes of squares scattered seemingly randomly, and you win them by pulling the hexagons off, and they have an icon on it with maybe a little instruction like rain cloud. It would look like a rain cloud. It would have an icon on it that would describe like something to do with the rain cloud. But then you combine it with whatever they play, like Magic does with power and toughness, I guess it would be, attributes. That's not exactly what it is. I haven't played Magic in years, but power and toughness. How much power you can get out there and how much toughness you can come back with. Some are hazards, some are abilities, some are weather patterns, some are friends, some are enemies. But you look and then you choose one. So you draw 3 each turn and you fill up your tableau before that of 5 face down. So you essentially have a 8-card hand every time, trying to defeat your enemy's 8-card hand. But they're hexagonal squares about that big with polygonal shapes on it with an icon on the polygons. And there's between 1 and 4 shapes on each hexagon. So there'll be an icon up at the top and perhaps like a little description of what it is. So they're basically like enemies. They're basically like creatures or whatever within the playwork. I'm kind of debating the idea of mana, because mana is how you pay for it, right? You know, I don't need the mana to activate the cards. I could do it kind of in the same framework of like a poker hand defeats this poker hand, but that's seemingly like 2 solitaire games. Poker to me seems like a fun game, right? I've played enough poker to know it's a fun enough game, poker nights and stuff like that. But my problem with it is it's like a 4-person solitaire game, whereas Magic the Gathering, you're more or less interacting with the people. So you don't need mana. You would have to have some way that to denote from that icon what it does, like a snow cloud would do what to bubblegum. Well, bubblegum would freeze within it. It would have to... It's kind of like a rock, paper, scissors sort of dynamic, but more like rock, paper, scissors, lizard, if you're familiar with the RPS, the rock, paper, scissors, where it's like a lot of these characters. And you're just organizing on that pattern. You're kind of... I guess you just sort of guess, but it's like rock, paper, scissors. Is it all luck? That seems like rock, paper, scissors is basically all luck. You're kind of going off of what they would want to do if they could do that. But you would, I guess it would be like Magic the Gathering, where you don't have to lay down mana, but you would have to display 1 from your tableau or 1 from your hand, because you would draw 3, which means that you would essentially have 12 options at most in your hand, between 3 and 12 options in your hand, and also your secret tableau that you can reveal 1. So you reveal 1 from your hand or your tableau every turn, like, you know, on the next turn I can get you with this one. But you just wouldn't use mana. You would have to lay something down, and something's going to get defeated. So, like Magic the Gathering, a little simplified, but on tiles. Like, I'm gonna lay this down, and there are those 3 options. You know, I'm just gonna pick the most powerful one. but even that might not work. But you might pick a least powerful one because you need to fill in that space on the grid in order to win over that fief. A fief of counselors. See what I mean? It's kind of like, the theme is a little bit combination of communism meets medieval times. Instead of like wards. Wards are basically neighborhoods in a communist system where you have like counselors, like a cooperative business. A cooperative business is ran by everybody involved. They're usually small businesses like food co-ops or clothing co-ops or stuff like that. But it's to kind of introduce that idea of communism and also kind of to play around with the idea of a monarchy system to make it kind of regalic and neat, you know. So that's what I'm saying, like a Magic the Gathering without mana, and you're not necessarily going to play with the largest one on that hexagon because you might need a shape in order to fill in that fief with whatever you're planting on it or putting on it or whatever. It could just be houses. It doesn't really matter. They're buildings, you know what I mean? They're just basically buildings, and you're covering your fief building a citadel over your entire town by doing it one fief at a time. A fief of counselors might be a better name for it than houses of the proletariat. A fief of counselors conveys like, oh, they're a fief, but they're cooperative. Ooh. See, this message is for Bill Maher. Or Bill. Not that I'm here thinking you're one of the funniest people on the planet or anything, because you're not one of the funniest people on the planet. Bill, you are the funniest person on the planet right now, Bill. But I really think that you sit on some money. You sit on $100 million. And I've been down to Los Angeles on 7th and 8th Street, and I've seen the homeless situation because of COVID. And I think that you and your rich liberal friends, who are already generous, donating to their country clubs and whatever, should come together and eradicate homelessness in Los Angeles. What that's going to do is it's going to send a shockwave of inspiration to everywhere else in the country that a bunch of superstars and Hollywood people came together and housed everyone in Los Angeles. You could do it, man. You have the money. You have the people. I don't see why you don't do it. You would be a hero to the United States and possibly the world. And then you could use that to run for president of the United States because we all think that you'd be a good leader. There's also Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, so good luck. But if I were to pick two people that I think that could either run against each other or run together, it would be you, Bill Maher, and you, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Because what better team would that be? How would the Republicans ever beat our ass? Never! Never! The game I'm working on now, I kind of want to call it the Fief of Counselors, or just Fief. Because, well, I know there's got to be a game called Fief out there. There's 100,000 board games listed on Board Game Geek, and I haven't looked that up, but I'm sure there's a game out there just called Fief, because it's simple. There's probably more than one called Root, other than the popular game Root. If that's taken, I'll probably just go with the monarcho-communist, because that's clever too. The way I described it to my stepdad is kind of like Rummy meets Tetris, but it's more like Rummy meets Magic the Gathering meets Tetris. So you're going to have a board that's going to be about the size of a Monopoly board. It's going to be a 2-board game. On that board, you're going to place 36 tiles, and they're all going to be face up. And those tiles you'll get to draw from. You'll draw from a bag of 100. The last video I said 300. I think I can do it with 100. I'll just do 5 of each kind of tile and then doubles. So it's not too complex. You're going to lay out your tableau, which is going to be 5 face down tiles that you're going to draw from the bag. And then you're going to draw 36 with your gaming partners and put them within the framework of the main board. So every turn you're going to draw 3 of them. They're face up, and they're going to see what they are. You're going to put those in like your temporary tableau, and people are going to look at that, like they'll see what you got. And then you're going to remove 2, or you're going to take one from your tableau and say, look, this is the one that I'm going to attack with on the next turn. So you lay those out, and then the next turn you do your attack. Unless you want to remove it and change it. No, that doesn't make much sense, does it? Yeah, that does make sense. I'm kind of spitballing it, but you could remove or change it like, oh, the one I laid out this turn I don't really like, so everybody displays the one at once, what they're going to attack with, and then your turn you're like, I think I got a better one, because you're going to draw and replace from the board, your tableau, or you're going to draw one from the bag. So you're going to have between 8 and 32 options, and they're all going to be Tetris shapes. They're all going to be big enough to contain what's on the tile. It's going to be like big enough tile to show those 3 things or 4 things or 2 things or 1 thing that's on your hexagon tile, because you'll have several options for attacks. So when you lay one down, it might have 4 different attacks, but you don't know what they're going to go with. They're going to go with like maybe the rain cloud, or maybe they're going to go with the bubble gum on the ground, or whatever the hell it is, a cow pie. You're going to have like abilities, hazards, friends, enemies. You're going to have 10 different things. In fact, I can kind of show you where I'm going with this, because I have this drawn out. I have other ideas for games. My game book is just stuffed with different shit. So it'll look somewhat like this. I know it's all backwards, but that's the way it goes. And that just explains what I was just talking about. You're going to draw one from either your tableau, or you're going to draw one from the board, or you're going to draw one from a bag. You're going to have these different shapes, like, I guess you can call them polygonal shapes, kind of like Tetris had polygonal shapes, or Isle of Cats, or whatever. You're gonna have those shapes that you can decide on. Like, you're gonna have your food, you're gonna have your ability, you're gonna have your enemy, your memory, different ideas. And the object is to fill in these feats. I might call it a ward to make it more like in tune with communism, but monarcho-communist would be an interesting story, because you overthrow the monarchy, you institute what would become communism. Communism as a term didn't come around until 1867, but you're going to have, it's going to be a mix of communism and monarchy. The monarchy is still there, but it's not really expanded upon in this game. I might do a sequel that talks more about the monarchy, and you might realize, oh, these aren't humans, or something like that. I don't know. But it'll be something like that. It'll be a continuation. So you're going to try to fill in these spaces. A really small board, just like a 4x4, like Monopoly thing. And so you're going to collect things, have options, and you're going to try and fill in for points and get as much points as you can. There's a lot of strategy to it, because you can fill in like the 5-point ones, which are the small cubes, or the 10-point ones, or the 20-point ones that you have to work harder and longer to get. You see what I mean? So you have different options on your tiles too, and options to where you draw from the bag, the board, or go from your tableau. Neighborhood watch. So you're going to have a board, and there's going to be 36 hexagons on this board. Each of those shapes on those hexagons corresponds to what it could be. It could be a hazard, prizes, weather, ability, a friend, an enemy, a memory, hunches, food, or sicknesses. And of course, everybody in the game is going to have these things too. Each turn, you're going to draw 3. You're going to lay down 1 from either what you draw from the bag or draw from the board or use in your tableau of 5. And they're face down. And only you can see yours of the tableau. The 3 you're drawing are going to be face up. You're going to put those down, and you're going to discard 2 or 3 if you use 1. You're going to discard 2 back to the bag of 100. You're going to have 36 of them, and you're going to have these 10 different things. There's going to be 5 of each one, so there will be 5 hazards, and it'll be doubled. Or it'll just be 1 of each one, so it'll be 10 different hazards. There I'm just going into it, what I just talked about. See, there's going to be these different hazards. Prizes, weather, ability, friend, enemy, memory, hunch, food, sickness. And they're going to look different. It's not all going to be pizza. I just did that intermittently. You're trying to win the game by filling in these neighborhoods with your shapes that you win from the corresponding actions of what you win. So if you win your shape that won against their shape with the thing on it, kind of like it'll be simple. It'll be like your power and your toughness. It'll be how much you give, how much you can take. And it'll be just kind of a simple gameplay based on your power and your toughness. I know I've done the PTSD, strength and distance, strength of whatever distance of how far you can walk, and strength of how much you can throw. So it'll be strength and distance out. It'll just be power and toughness on the hexagon. And there'll be 3 different sizes. I'll probably call them neighborhoods. I just like kind of working within a milieu of something that's easy to understand, like medieval time. Loneliness, quest the fattening. I don't know. I've lost 150 pounds. No, it's not like Dungeons and Dragons. Maybe if you don't like me, you should stay out of the fucking chat. Stupid. Anyway, but that's the idea there. And so I'm either going to call it Neighborhood Watch or Wards or the Monarcho Communists. I like the idea of Neighborhood Watch because it would be like a post-revolutionary period. Yeah, if you hate me, maybe you should leave. I don't think you do love me. I want some proof of that. But thank you. I'm not trying to be ingracious. Hey, if anybody, if you live in Spokane, hit me up and maybe invite me to your house. Yeah, your fans in Spokane, but invite me over to your house and I'll meet women and have a girlfriend instead of me having to do it all my fucking self. I don't feel like you love me. I feel like you hate me. But anyway, I'm Lucas. I do board game design, but I'm really interested in what you're into. So like I would, introduce me to women if I were you. That would be the nice, kind thing to do. The game relates to communism because they're neighborhood watches. I guess socialism or democratic socialism. The idea is to show kind of a city without cops. You know what I mean? So each neighborhood would be patrolled by a guy with a sword. It's not really within the game, but I'm just gonna call it neighborhood watch because you're going around patrolling and you hit hazards and you might hit like a snow cloud, but your neighbor hits gum on the side of a shoe, so your snow cloud might defeat the gum by freezing it off or something like that. I don't know how open-minded I want it to be because you would have to have a mediator. I might end up doing it like Dixit, where you go against one person, then everybody else judges based upon your story of what like the thing does. Like you have to come up with a compelling story of how a gum defeats snow cloud or something like that. I think that would be an interesting way to do it, kind of open-minded, kind of like Dixit, or you're trying to like compel people to vote for your side of the story. You tell a brief little thing like, oh, it's sunny out, so this defeats this slug. or this doesn't defeat this slug, or there's a bullet, or there's like something on the ground, or there's your buddy Tim, or your enemy Clickatat, or something like that. You know what I mean? I'm going to stay right here. Thanks. No, I'm going to stay right here. Thanks. There's a huge generation gap scene at this bar called Bistango. I don't know why you're getting off topic, but Bistango is where the Gen Z women are hooking up with the Generation X and baby boomer dudes. Like every time I go past there, it's called Bistango. It's a martini bar. I'll probably just end up going there one day. Women usually turn around these days if you say, hey, yeah, I want some pussy. And then they start smiling and you just go, hi, my name's Lucas, and you kiss their hand. I mean, that's usually how it works with age gap relationships. You try to act cool and then you act sweet. But, you know, that's how it goes. I'm going to stay right here. Thanks. Yeah, where's the party at? Maybe you should answer that fucking question. I'm not trying to be a bad boy or anything. I'm just saying that I would like to get that part started. But here I am talking about games, and you're just distracting me from talking about games, so you're not really on point. Stanko, that's really disingenuous towards women. But I guess it works to say, oh yeah, I want some pussy, and that turns them around. I don't know. Works with the wiggers. I'm not going to stop saying wigger, and I'm not going to stop saying nigga till I have a girlfriend. I don't even listen to rap. I listen to like cyberpunk music. Anyway, we're getting off topic here. Girls like guys with an ID card that can buy them drinks, and I lost my ID at a homeless shelter. I'm not homeless anymore. I'm living at a place. Oh, thank you for the compliment on being a cool game. Hey, how do I get out of here? I always forget. Do I just press X? Man, why does dubstep get such a bad rap? I listen to that shit all fucking day. Especially on my 3.5 mile newfound walk. Because I'm trying to shed the poundage. Be healthier. Okay, so with the board game, I think I'm not married to the idea of the Counselors of the Thief or Counselors of the Thief. I do like that name though, and somebody when I did a live chat this afternoon said they like that title, so I might keep that. It's going to take me a while to develop it. Counselors of the Thief. Because it goes together easy, but if you think about it, it doesn't make any sense, because a thief with counselors, it's like communism meets monarchy. But that's the point, they overthrow. Anyway, I have like 30 pages written about this backstory, and I'm going to read it all, because I edited it down to one page. It is the year 9PK in the Imperial Cooperative Commonwealth of Quabium for life. I'm not married to that either. I might change it to Hexium because it could be a 6-player game conceivably. I'm gonna change that right now. It could be a 1,000,000-player game for all the mechanisms of it. Hexium just sounds like a better name too. Okay, that is to say 9 years after the peasants' that is to say 9 years after the peasants' kakistocracy. So a thief of the land, really. A kakistocracy. That's a hard one to pronounce. I might just like redo this shit. But I like to throw in things with the mistakes because people love blooper reels. Hi, I'm Lucas Werner. I design games. I'm a butt. That is to say 9 years after the peasants' kakistocracy and the establishment of the their Declaration of Independence, the forthwith butchery. From the Basilio of asteroid Meloria, a ball of rock, the asteroid Meliora, which means a positive growth in Latin. Melioria, positivity, ameliorate. I just looked up a bunch of Roman words and picked one, Latin. What the fuck not, yeah. A ball of rock covered only in rainforest, and now the techno-agraria of Hexium, a rich citadel with a billion sapient life forms known only as Nikila, on this fungal floral animalia hybrid symbiosis world fed by liquid ammonia as a solvent the size of Rhode Island, orbiting between a trinary star system among gas giants and craggy mountainous dead lifeless Earths. An oasis teeming with carbon-based life no taller than 10 meters high, richer in variety and color than all the oceans and all the life itself on our own. So I had like 30 pages written. I was at a mental stabilization unit, so I just sat there and wrote. Kind of like I did with that short story Wound. If I ever go back to Wound, I think I'm gonna change the name of it to Are We Unwinding? A novella, or a short story, Are We Unwinding? Because there's not really a lot of characters in it, and it's not really the point to have characters, it's just to describe a clock punk world that would be at high technology, just with gears, because that would be interesting, even if impossible. But I explain how it could be possible, because they unzip a electromagnetic field to combine matter with antimatter to propel their ships. There's still clock-based gears on the molecular level. It's neat. A lot of people wrote me on Facebook and Instagram talking about how much they liked Wound. But I might change that to Are We Unwinding? A short story, or The Unwinding. The Unwinding sounds too much like a Stephen King novel, but that might actually carry some cachet because people like Stephen King. Go fig. The Unwinding is cool because it unwinds to create the power of torsion, which propels things up in the air and then just unwinds. So I like the idea is you think it's medieval, right? But they also have high technology, like holographic stuff, like kind of like the Hunger Games a little bit, where they have like high tech holographic stuff, but it's like Roman iconography and also stuff from like Nazi Germany. They combine different things. The Hunger Games, aside from maybe the third movie, is really an awesome film series. I don't like the name of it, like Mockingjay 2. Whoever wrote that, couldn't they have been a little more creative with the name? For what it's worth, though, the Hunger Games is amazing, and it's weird and scary in a way that's very cathartic in a way. It'll make you cry after what happens at the end. Yeah, newsflash, spoiler alert. The vice president becomes president and then is immediately shot with an arrow by Katniss and dies. So I just spoiled the Hunger Games for you. I'm sorry. But it's cool. It's got Woody Harrelson. It's got a whole bunch of A-list actors and actors that nobody had ever heard of before that. It's a really awesome movie. So I like the idea of they dress like medieval period. They dress like everybody walking around would be dressed as like the medieval with the high hats and like the pointy countess hats, and like everybody would be king, you know what I mean? Everybody would have that same sort of look of like that medieval, not peasantry, but the peasants would also look like they were at the ball all the time. Just dresses, maybe even skirts that are shortcut, but they're not human. You know what I mean? They would be like something out of Rick and Morty, like a three-headed fungus plant-animal hybrid, like just weird looking, but without the comedy, more of a drama. This game I want to be the first in the series because the next game is just going to blow your mind. It's going to be the one with like the 10 boards and stuff like that. Big table eater engine builder game that I want to build. But this is going to precede that with the 36 hexagons that you draw from. Then you're trying to tell the story of how the peasants revolted and created a direct democracy under an emperor that serves a 20-year term, or an emperor-empress triumvirate, and also their family. Well, it wouldn't be an empress triumvirate because remember, everything on this planet is male until they summon the female. At the end of it, the story. I might write an epilogue that will be the prologue to the next series where they find the female, because they're trying to look for the female because they know that they're dying. All the life forms on this world are like really small. That's why there's a billion of them in an area the size of Rhode Island. It would be like saying there's a billion ants in Rhode Island. Well, yeah, that might make sense that there's a billion ants in Rhode Island because they're only like a centimeter tall at most. They're small. It's just the way it is. They're on an asteroid, so they're all male. They don't breed. They don't know. They're not driven by sex, but they know that they need to mate in order to find their species replenishing itself, because when they first began, they had 720 trillion of them. They just come out of the earth and immediately started ranching and hurting the other animalia, plant, fungus things, and started farming. And for 3,000 years, they did this. And then they try to locate the female. Remember the whole story of like how they're just delicious? You'll have to go back through the logs of this channel to see that game. I called it various things. I called it Saturnalia. I've called it... I don't remember. Saturnalia is the current thing, but fiefs, the counselors of the fiefs, or the counselors of the fief, sounds like a really cool name, so I might stick with that. And then Counselors of the Fief Part 2. You find that a lot in board games. Like the second one is when they really flesh out the ideas, and people really like the second one of a lot of series within board games. More than the first one, and I'm gonna maybe do something like that. I like the first one that I'm developing now. It's cool. I think I could sell it for $75 and make a good, healthy profit, which is common for board games. Board games these days are anywhere like Descent, like $150. I bought Antiquity for $100 just to see how that mechanic ran. I like to look at board games, not really to play them. I'm open to playing them, but I haven't really found my group yet. But I bought board games because I was interested in looking at them, almost like they were a musical opus. That's why some people buy board games, is to look at them and to discover how they're played. I like reading rules. I like figuring out how the pieces work, and then I could teach people how to play. My mom's kind of the same way too. But she plays. She taught herself how to play mahjong with some old ladies, or well, they taught her, and then she started teaching people how to play mahjong. My mom's probably a genius. So yeah, and mahjong. It's mahjong. What's mahjong? That's like the equivalent of like being a guy learning how to play chess for a couple of months, and now you're teaching it, or Go, or something like that. Mom's a genius, and creative too. Makes jewelry and gourd masks. She just does this wacky stuff where she develops an art style within art styles. And I kind of take after her, where I like to buy board games just to see how things run and how they look. My stepdad and a lot of the guys in my family, like uncles and stuff, and dad, like to look at cars just to see how the engines work. And of course they do repair them and drive them, but it's a solitary enjoyment thing for me, just like it is for them a lot of times. My mom, with her art, and I remember her growing things and sewing and doing needlework when she was very young, a young mom. A lot of people weren't doing that back then because it was kind of an old lady hobby, and my mom did cross stitch. And then she got bored of that and moved on to something else. And then she started making soaps and candles and jewelry and gourd masks. And that's how it is. It's like everybody in my family has a solitary hobby. My older brother's solitary hobby is he likes stuff to do with marijuana. And of course, you have your group activity within that, but he knows a lot about marijuana. My younger brother is really a lot like that, like my buddy Cyril was with rap music, and studies, looks at rap and discographies of movies and Criterion Collection stuff. Likes a lot of that he did, but really likes a lot of beat-driven music. I would be shocked if he didn't know about dubstep and enjoy cyberpunk music. So I listen to that shit all day. Like I said, why the fuck does dubstep get such a bad rap? It's fucking epic, man. This shit gets me walking. I walk 3.5 miles a day. I'm gonna try and walk 3.5 miles every day now that I have housing. Fuck it. Oh, boys and girls. Came down to downtown Spokane Saturday night. Bars are hopping. No money in the pocket. A lot of fat rides. A lot of whips. Socialist generation. A lot of fucking hot bitches. What do you do? I think if you're Gen X, you should just come down here and stick your dick inside all these hot women. With consent, of course, because what you're advocating is wrong. Do you know who I am? You know what I stand for, comrade? Treat these women to respect and fuck the shit out of them, Gen X. It seemed like there was a decent amount about questions on the game that I'm likely to design soon. So I thought I'd do a live chat to answer those questions. I know the bigots come in and they're like, date somebody your own race, date somebody your own weight, date somebody your own age. Maybe you should shut the fuck up and stop being a bigot. Get the fuck off me, bitch. Fucking click-a-tad ass motherfuckers. But let's get to the point. And I can answer questions about the game. I just wanted to get that off my chest because fuck you, that's why. You're probably a Holocaust denier while you're at it too, bitch ass. Just shut the fuck up, lying ass bitch ass. But the question that got asked was about creatures. Are there creatures in the game? Well, no, you're a neighborhood watch. It's more of an alternative universe thing. I like the idea of maybe it being medieval too, but that's been done to death. It's like board games these days are either medieval or they're sci-fi, and I kind of want to make something more alternative universe. It would be, you're just walking around picking up hazards and enemies and friends and whatnot, and abilities, counteracting them with other people. I sort of like the Dixit idea of forming your own story, but I like the idea also of a concrete thing that you can do based on what's on the cards, like Magic the Gathering. So I'm going to have to look at the Magic engine to see if I can kind of adapt from that, because everybody likes Magic. There's also Isle of Cats, and that fits the whole polygonal thing of fitting shapes together on a board. And I like that idea. It's been in antiquity. It's been in Fief of Counselors. It would be like the fief was overthrown. I might call it ward too, because that's how it's. I like the idea of neighborhood watch though. I like the idea of the medieval theme meets like a modern era too. I didn't get that question. Are you going to make a game about making your parents want nothing to do with them? Oh, I don't know. My parents and I talked yesterday, so maybe you should shut your fucking mouth, bitch. I'm not going to stop until you shut the fuck up. I talked to my stepdad wrote me today and was like, please keep in touch with us. We're worried about you. I'm glad that you're not homeless anymore. We talked this morning. I talked to my mom yesterday. To me, it just seems like you're fucking retarded. Shut the fuck up, you dork weasel. Ward of counselors. Yeah, because that's kind of how a neighborhood is organized in like a post-communist society. I'll probably just call it neighborhood watch because it's catchy and people understand it. Yeah, you're on Gen Z women. We're on topic here. Get on the fucking point, bitch. Oh, you give money to my Patreon? I can't even access it. I'm gonna have to get someone to access that money because I got like $46 in there, and I got $50 on my Cash App. Thank you for contributing, by the way. I mean, no shit. Respect me, and then I'll respect you. I don't like people that disrespect me. I'll respect the fuck out of you if you respect me. It usually starts with me respecting people. So if you show me disrespect, I'm gonna show you disrespect. What do you expect? I'm not even really using Instagram right now. Maybe you should shut the fuck up, Wiener Bong. Stay on point. If you're not gonna respect me, I'm not gonna respect you, bitch. You're a fucking moron, Luxus. I'm just gonna stay until you get on point. Fucking bitch. If you ever came over to my place, I'd kick you out for disrespect. You know, the IP2 network. Never heard of that. It sounds like something I might look into. People were talking about Cameo too, but I think you might need a bank account to do Cameo. I got $50 the other day for like I soft core berated some kitty cats that somebody owned. I thought that was funny. She loved it though. I kept it rated G. I kind of channel my inner Jim Gaffigan to do that. I would love to do something like that. Oh, your dog peed on the carpet, and I berate your dog. I'm not homeless anymore. I was for a year and a half, and then I got housing. I'm not really at liberty to talk about that right now because I don't want people to know where I live because it's just a bunch of assholes trolling me. Why would you realize that the trolling happens to me in public too, right? Sometimes. I don't like it. Maybe you should just back the fuck up off me before I call the fucking police. Just back the fuck up. If you're not going to respect me, I'm not going to respect you. It's not how I run. I'm not a simp. I don't want to make it too complex, Benjamin. It's a good idea. I just don't want to complexify it. You know, I don't. I think it's complex enough with 2 boards. That's the thing. A game I'm working on potentially might have 10 different big parts to it that would cost like $500 to make because I want to go for a world record table eater game engine. But I have to get a job to do these games. Yeah, you'll find out eventually. Suck my fucking dick and suck my father's dick. Shut the fuck up. Maybe you should leave the fucking chat, Wiener Bong. Leave. A good band name. I don't know. I'm not in a band. I don't know how to play musical instruments. Beef of Counselors would be a good band name. I'm trying to do that trick where you knock the sunglasses onto your eyes. I can't do it. I like these ones more than the last ones. I usually buy the $16 sunglasses at Rite Aid, but I spent $21 on these. Maybe you should worry about your own fucking life, Wiener Bong. Extendo Telomerase. Sure, make a band called Extendo Telomerase. I don't play musical instruments. I'm more of a fan than a player. But if you guys have any questions about the board game, that's why I made this chat. I don't normally do it because of guys like Wiener Bong in there just like skulking around like a bitch. If you have questions about the games I'm designing, feel free to ask. I'd be more than welcome, and you're more than welcome as well. You win by you get like the polygonal shapes and you're fitting them on that grid work that I showed you and trying to get the most points fastest. I don't think I'm going to showcase anything SEC because Nobody really seems interested. I'd have to have a planned event. That's what I mean. If you care about me and you're in Spokane, invite me to your party so I can meet the chicks. Otherwise, I don't believe you. It's just words. The only guy that I've really hung out with is Skeletor and 24 from the Outcast Owls, and they're both conservatives. And they hooked me up with beer, they hooked me up with joints, and then they interviewed me for 2.5 hours, and the Kiwi Farms idiots took and manipulated it and made the sound all crappy and everything like that and ruined what Skeletor was going for. And then he couldn't upload it correctly because it got rendered wrong or there was some snafu. But he uploaded it and then he took it down and he left the Kiwi Farms thing up. I don't know. He said he'd never heard of Kiwi Farms. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I don't know half the story about the paparazzi chasing me and stalking me and bullshit. I don't know most of that shit. I don't know what's really going on. But I do know that he hooked me up with some beer and joints and a pipe to do a thing with him. My opinion on trans women is that they're human beings. These are questions that have nothing to do with what we're talking about here. If you're transitioning to a man, transitioning to a woman, good for you. I think you're a human being and you deserve love. That's my only fucking opinion. I want to have kids. Maybe you want to have kids and want to adopt. Maybe I don't want to adopt. Maybe I'm into telomerase research. Let's go on the questions about the games. I'm open for questions about the games. Maybe you should back the fuck up, hold the eye. Back the fuck up. No, I'm not going to put any of my games on the mobile. People that do board gaming prefer the cardboard and plastic modal. That's what I run with is cardboard and plastic. I don't want to do mobile games. I don't like. People do it all the time on like Tabletopia, and they do it all the time. I have nothing against it personally, but well, okay, yes I do. I have something against it personally because I don't like the feel of always being on the computer all the time. Shut the fuck up, Holy Eye. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up, bitch. Yeah, I know you travel a lot for work, but you know you could put it in your briefcase. I might do something like that in the future. I want to Kickstarter a game and find out how to do that with video. I'll probably get a prop up so I can like prop the cell phone up and record that way. I want to learn about putting music to a game or putting music to a video. I don't really know how to do that. I would have to ask Skeletor about how to do that because he puts together music for his videos and Outcast Owl's doing. It looks pretty good. And they're friends in my program, you could say. Shut the fuck up, Hold the Eye, fucking bitch. Right, I understand that people do Kindle because it's more convenient. It just tabletop games are meant to be an experience. I feel for the tabletop. I mean, there's people that travel. I might do a mobile app, but I don't want to get too far ahead of myself here. I want to concentrate on the cardboard and getting sales that way and impressing people at first that way. But yeah, I have nothing against it for other people. It's just something that I'm not interested in personally for playing. I don't know Isaac at all. I don't know anybody. Shut the fuck up, Holdy Eye, you fucking bitch. I don't want friends like you. Yeah, I don't want to put the cart before the horse. I've never played a game with my niece. She's played with my parents, who are her grandparents. But I kind of make games with my family in mind because my stepdad, he said, you got to make it simple for us old folks. And I'm like, yeah, it's pretty simple. You figure this out. Shut the fuck up, Holdy Eye. Nothing you're saying is true, you fucking bitch. Get back the fuck up. Just back the fuck up. Guys, tell people, tell Holdy Eye to go back the fuck up. That's going to be the new saying is, where the party at, but Holdy Eye, back the fuck up. Back the fuck up. Fucking... I don't have voices in my head. Back the fuck up. If you were in public, I would punch you. I'm not at liberty to say where I'm at. It's the weekend. I'm just at a spot. I like recording outside. It looks better to me. So if you guys have any more questions about the game, so far we've got a couple of them. Kristen asked, shut the fuck up, Winterborg. Fucking bitch. Back the fuck up. If you got questions about the game, I'll answer questions about the game. I like that video I did where I used rocks as dice. I thought that was fun. Somebody wrote me and like said I didn't know what mediate and mitigate meant. So I explained how they didn't know what it meant. Some dude named Evan McMillan trolls me. It's a fucking bitch. There's all these people that troll me. They're just dweeby assholes. Am I gonna eat the fucking rock? What do you think, I'm a monster? That's gross. Yeah, I guess. They're just paparazzi. I mean, Clickatat just basically rides on my coattails in order to get his fame up. He doesn't even have 1,000 followers. I don't prey on young women, you fucking retarded dork. Back the fuck up. I don't care what you fucking want, you Trumpanzee idiot. You're exactly the kind of goons that get punched. You're exactly the type of goons that trolled Neil Armstrong saying he didn't land on the fucking moon. You're conspiracy theory nutbags. I don't want your conservative asses to exist, and neither do any of us. We want you to go the fuck away. Your pretty girlfriend's a fucking idiot if she's with you. Nah. I didn't have time. I want to do it right. I want to go to a bar, find honey at a bar, and buy her a drink. That's what I want to do. I don't really care what you are. If you're treating me to disrespect, I'm going to treat you to disrespect. I don't care if you're a conspiracy theory nut or not. If you treat me to disrespect, I'm going to treat you to disrespect, bitch. Rope and duct tape is you. That's you. That's not me. That's got nothing to do with me, fucking idiot. You just shut the fuck up and stop disrespecting. I've had sex. Why are we on this topic? I lived with a woman for 1.5 years. Why are we on this topic? Guys, get to the topic of the board games. I don't care what you fucking want, Wienerborg. Fucking bitch. I look like more. Look at this shit. Maybe you should back the fuck up, you Trumpansies. Nobody likes you in Washington State. You should get off the past and get on the future and stop being a paparazzi jackfool. You should back the fuck up, FX. Trump is a fucking moron. You're all fucking morons. Let's talk about games. Let's talk about board games. Kirsten asked if there were creatures in it, and there's no creatures in it. You're just a neighborhood watch patrolling around, picking up shit, and deciding what to do with it in concordance with fighting other people. It's not based on creatures. There's a lot of Dungeons and Dragons people. I don't like Dungeons and Dragons because it's just a story. You know what I mean? It's not. It doesn't feel like a game to me. Yeah, whatever. Back the fuck up, you conservative retard. You're just a fucking jerk. I don't really need your bitch ass style. You appropriate everything from the left wing anyway. Get to the topic of the board game, please. I hate Sorry so much. I hate luck-based games. I don't need to have comebacks, you fucking retard. I own Clue. Clue was a good game back in the day. I also own a Sherlock Holmes game that I've never played. Nigga what? I'm not gonna stop saying nigga with people dropping bitches and slut out their mouth. Thank you. I like my shades too. $21 at Rite Aid. I usually buy the $16 ones, but I like the $21 ones. Anyway, it seems like you're off topic for the board game, and I've answered all your questions. So I'm going to go check out because I have to go pee. Talk to you later. Thanks for the nice questions. And if you're just there trolling me, shut the fuck off. Just what I'm going to do. Because you're being bitches. Shut the fuck off. Respect me and I'll respect you.
Yep, they brought back the mask mandate. I'm wearing my mask right now outside to illustrate the fact that while you're out there partying at the bar scene, you're the ones making everybody sick. While you're out there saying, I don't want to get a vaccination, you're the ones making people sick. Fuck you. I don't have to wear it outside though, but I'm just saying that you're the problem. So it's 6 a.m. Well, it's not 6 a.m. I woke up at 6 a.m., brushed my teeth, and did my hair out. 6:29. I went to bed fairly early. I walked like 5 miles yesterday, just like back and forth on a track, going down to my area, coming back to where I live, coming to the area, going back, and then went to sleep in a nice, comfy bed. So I woke up and I realized how I can make Counselors of the Fief work in terms of the board game design, because I was struggling with that. The way I would make it work would be just a signal of power and toughness. Power would be listed in black, toughness would be, the amount you can take, power is how much you can dish out. Just make it as simple, straight across, power and toughness. Different things have different abilities in that regard, but they're different shapes, and you're putting the polygons down. It would make no sense to do that if you could just overlap the file, or like, let's say you have an L shape, like they're like Tetris. There's a lot of these games that have those polygon shapes. This is going to be one of those that have the polygon shapes like Tetris has, or Isle of Cats, or Feast Road, and a number of games. Antiquity is another one. I own that. I also own Feast 4. So what you would do to attack is the power and toughness thing. Power is how much you can dish out. Toughness is how much you can take. It would make no sense to be able to overlap the piece, the polygonal piece that you win from that battle over another type of shape. So you might have the L shape or the T shape. If you won that, and it wouldn't make any sense for you to choose any other thing on your little hexagon that you draw other than the one that has the most power or the most toughness. So what you do is the no overlaps of any other kind of shape. So there's 3 different kinds of square on the board where you're laying the polygons down. You might be able to play that power against them. The high one might be 6 or a 10, but it would be nonsense if it were just willy-nilly doing that. So you have the 10 different polygonal shapes, so you might want to play one with less power just because you need that particular shape to fill in that particular type of shape. And being that there's 3 different types of squares, if you have an overlap, well, you can't play it. You see what I mean? Like, you might lay a T down where there's a slot, but you need that one little tiny square. So you would have to play that particular type of thing, which would be a hazard for that tiny little square that you can slip in and complete that shape. That square with that shape. And I know that makes sense now.
You're scaring the hell out of me, man. Everything that I do good, I try to do good, and